What to look for when buying a rental property. By the end of this video, you're going to be ready to go out and get your first rental property. In this episode, we're going to go through many different things that you need to look for when buying a rental house. But the most important thing, I'm going to save it to the end so you will not want to miss it. This is key whenever buying any piece of real estate, so pay attention. So seriously, when buying a rental property, you got to look at a handful of different things. One, obviously, location. Location, location, location. We've all heard it before. It is the number one rule in real estate is location. The better the location, the higher demand, the higher the rent. Obviously, price point, you want to look at what price point and what rents are when running your numbers. What you don't want to do is pay $300,000 for a rental property that you're only going to get $800 a month. You're losing money. So cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. It's one of the key things that you need to look for. Is this a positive or negative cash flow? Sometimes I hear people say, oh, I'm just going to bank on the appreciation. Horrible business model. And I'll tell you why. Some people say, well, John, this area has appreciated X amount over the last, few years. Well, great. That just because that's happened over the last few doesn't mean it's always going to continue. And if you're just banking on appreciation, your business is only scalable to a certain point. Let me talk about it. So let's say you're losing $300 per rental. How many rentals do you get before you're losing so much money that it doesn't make sense anymore? So I look at how much profit margin, how much cash flow, and a positive cash flow am I getting every single month. This is important because then I could leverage up and actually scale my business. Instead of losing maybe $30,000 a month banking on appreciation, I'm gaining $30,000 a month, allowing me to go out and purchase more and more properties. Cash flow is the oxygen to your financial future. Do not forget it. It's what makes this business work. So being able to underwrite the asset correctly. What does a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, for example, rent for? That's key and pretty much what you're going to always look for. That 3-bedroom is kind of what's key in most markets. It's what most people focus in on. It's what I focused in on. It's what most other successful real estate investors focus in on. A minimum of 3 bedrooms. Because most people are young families getting going and they may have a kid or two or maybe mom or dad's living with them, whatever it might be. Having that 3-bedroom is critical. Also on rental properties, what I look for is you want to be in the properties about 70-75% of LTV, loan to value. I try to find a better deal. What does that mean? Sometimes I have to buy the worst house on the block. Yep, worst house on the block. It's that way I have some sweat equity. Usually that pays off huge for me in being able to go lower in price point, but I'm getting that sweat equity. Why is that important? Well, let's just say there is a dip in the market and the prices do adjust 10, 15, 20% even. Well, I could weather that storm because I bought it right. And if I have to adjust my rents accordingly, I could do that as well. In fact, I've had it to where I've bought the houses so right that other houses around me have not been able to sustain themselves and they have gone into foreclosure because I keep buying more and more, lowering the rents in the area in those kind of down markets. You do not want to be the nicest house on the block when you first buy. And that sweat equity comes from you doing the work to the property to reposition it from taking it that crappy house to one of the nicest, if not the nicest house in the neighborhood. You want to look at what repairs need to be done. On a rental property, it's different than a fix and flip. You don't put the same high-end finishes typically into it. So you want to make sure that it's a nice, clean house, but it doesn't have to have all the same things that a fix and flip would, which makes it easier for you to rehab. It brings down the costs as well. But also you want to look at like what type of products, not just from a cost standpoint, but resilience. A rental is going to take a lot more punishment, than a house that you're selling. You're not worried about that house. This house you are. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to the type of flooring and appliances, cabinets, you name it. These are things that you need to pay attention to. You don't want to over improve the house too much also to where you're putting way too much money into it and you're not necessarily seeing any value in return from a rental standpoint. Stay tuned till the end because I'm going to get you our free 100 ways to find off-market properties at the end of this, so you could find some off-market potential rental properties or fix and flips. Let's get back to it. I also look at like span of control. What do I mean by that? Is this a property that's way across town, or is this something, if I'm a new investor, I could get to quickly? You want to be able to get to that property quickly and address or take care of any potential issues. This is something that I try to pay attention to. And if I am buying across town, I want to keep buying across town in that same area and keep investing in that area. And if I can buy them right next to each other, I'll do that too. In doing so, the reason why I like that is because you can property manage it yourself. Yes, you could hire a property manager, but I strongly recommend you doing your own property management on the first handful of properties so you understand the process, what's involved, and so it's not so intimidating. Again, sometimes people end up giving away such a big chunk for something that's just what? Receiving and cashing a check. I'm not saying that you're not going to be dealt some blows once in a while, but it's all manageable. Hey, you did the heavy lifting. You found the property, you repositioned it, you found the renter probably too. Why would you just hand over money every single month? If you want to do that, contact me. I'm going to go ahead and property manage it for you. No problem. To reiterate the numbers, you want to make sure you're buying the property correctly to cash flow correctly. Run your numbers and understand them. Pull comps in the area. Find out what other houses similar to this layout, bedroom, bath count are renting for. Make sure there's nothing weird about the property either. Sometimes people get maybe a smaller lot, or maybe it's next to a busy road and they can't understand why it's not pulling the same number. Busy roads, power lines, all these type of things do play a factor in how much you're going to get in rent. Not to mention your school district. One of the top things people look for is your school district a good or bad school district? Oftentimes it says a lot about the neighborhood, but everybody's trying to get the best education for their kids. So school district is one of the key things that you want to pay attention to, which comes to my last thing, which is the number one rule in real estate investing. I bet you guys could guess it. In the school district, where are you? What's it about? It's about location, location, location. Always comes back to location. The better the location, the quicker you're going to be able to rent it, the premium that you're going to be able to demand for it, it is going to lease up or rent that much faster. When you go to flip this house, if you ever do, you're going to be able to flip it quicker too. Plus, you're going to be able to participate in all that upside appreciation. Again, follow all these steps to maximize your rental buying power. Do me a favor, subscribe below or leave comments below. Let me know your thoughts of this video. See you on the next one.